All right, man, we back. It's Goodfellas Sports TV. We in the building. Appreciate the love, support. And one of my subs brought this to my attention on Twitter, and I was going to talk about this more, and I forgot, and he was waiting on him to talk about it. So here you go. You got Khabib making his return October 25th versus Justin Gaethje, which what I read on ESPN, and that's their job because they promote UFC. It's one of the biggest, could be one of the biggest fights in UFC history. And they're going to be on pay-per-view October 24th. And we know that Usman and Jorge Masvidal, was it Bread Game, whatever his name is, Game Bread, they did over 1.3 or 1.4 million pay-per-views. And now Gervonta Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz will be going head-to-head with the UFC that night. So let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. So they probably going to be on Fight Island. And that's somewhere in the UAE. So when I watched the last fight card, it kind of drifted on into the night. I mean, it was like 1:30 and they still was fighting. All right, Masvidal and Usman. They call him the Nigerian NyQuil. But I don't know where Tank and Leo fighting. I can imagine it might be at the Microsoft Center. Most of the Showtime fights are going to be at Mohegan Sun, which the Mohegan Sun has a great and rich history for great fights. You know, they might not be the biggest fights, but it's usually a magical venue where you see some really good fights up there. It's kind of like the StubHub Center of the East Coast for really, really good fights. So I'm hearing a lot. PBC can do a lot of fights at either Microsoft Center if they have fans at the Staples Center. I got that news this morning. But Tank is going up against a juggernaut. The UFC has a large casual fan base. Khabib hasn't fought since September 2019. It's going to be a hot ticket, not because it's a good style matchup. This Gaethje guy was a wrestler, and he's one of the best strikers in MMA. His record is 22-2 or something like that. He's 5-2 in the UFC. His last 4 or 5 fights, he had lost before that, whatever that stretch is. He got a knockout for the last 4 or 5 fights. And, people want to see can Khabib out-wrestle this dude, and this dude got hands as well. And also, you're only going to see Khabib maybe one more time after that. He said he's retiring. He lost his father. Rest in power to his father, who he's really, really close with. And I remember his father saying that, this was like one of the funniest quotes in my life. He was mad that Khabib didn't keep his discipline. After defeating Conor McGregor, he jumped off the ring. And he says that my discipline is going to be, way worse. I'm paraphrasing anything that Dana White, the UFC, and Nevada State Athletic Commission is going to do to Khabib. So, they had a great, excellent bond and relationship. And honestly, with somebody that's the magnitude of Khabib, it's probably going to lead the sport in one or 2 more fights. He says 2 more fights, which we already know they always come back, but people believe that. That's going to make his ticket even hotter. Tank and Leo is a questionable pay-per-view. That should be a regular Showtime fight. I don't think, some people are going to support it. Some people are going to watch it. Some people are going to make it more than what it's supposed to be. You had Robert Garcia picking Leo, but what's new? They pick Mexican regardless. They're not gonna pick no black fighter like Tank unless he training in their gym. They're gonna be pro-Mexican. That's just how they rock out. And this sounds like it's gonna be Mikey and Earl Spence all over again, where you got Leo saying, you got Tank saying that he ain't gonna be looking for the knockout. You had Earl saying he claimed he was saying he wasn't looking for the knockout. You got people that's gonna try to make it seem like how can I say, they're going to try to make this seem more complex than what it is. You got Leo Santa Cruz, who ain't a natural 130-pounder, who just throw a lot of punches but don't have no power. You got Tank. People, their excuse is Tank not going to make the weight. Tank said he got a nutritionist. The only reason Tank didn't make 35 and look bad doing this because Tank tried to make weight himself. He didn't respect Gamboa. His first pay-per-view, I expect Tank to come down in weight by October 24th. I expect him to make the weight with his nutritionist. I expect him to train hard. And I expect him to get the stoppage versus Leo Santa Cruz. This ain't no competition. If Leo beat Tank, I'd be surprised. You know what I'm saying? And my whole thing is, if they really believe Leo can beat Tank, Tank wouldn't be fighting. They didn't believe him to fight Tevin. Floyd was saying that, after he beat the dude in Baltimore, he was finally ready to fight Tevin Farmer. Really, dude? We thought he could beat Tevin Farmer immediately. You know what I'm saying? So they keeping him away from Devin. They keeping him away from T.O. They keeping him away from Gary Russell. They believe he can beat Leo Santa Cruz. And he will beat Leo Santa Cruz. So it's not an enigma. It's not a mystery. To me, unless the undercard is going to be slapping, I'm going to have that on the laptop. And I'm going to have Khabib and, Justin Gatley on the big screen, straight up and down. You know what I'm saying? UFC is giving us an excellent fight, and also Khabib ain't fought in a year, so it's the reverse Conor McGregor. McGregor hadn't fought in a year or some change when he fought, Khabib, and now Khabib is the one that hadn't fought since September. So it should be an interesting fight. But Tank going up against the UFC that night on pay-per-view, even if he was on regular TV, he was gonna get his ass whooped. I guarantee if you put Leo and Tank on Showtime, and I guarantee you that if the UFC did pay-per-view, they sell more pay-per-views than they do viewership on Showtime. I guarantee you that. I've seen it before. Showtime hasn't reached 1 million pay-per-views without Deontay Wilder in a long time. On regular Showtime, they have never. Mikey and Adrian fell short. All the Danny Garcia's fights fell short. Earl and Lamont fell short. So it's been very, very few fighters in the modern PBC era since they left Showtime to do 1 million viewership on Showtime. So you telling me UFC is probably going to do over 1 million pay-per-views with this fight if the economy is still kind of where it is or better? And Leo and Tank wouldn't even do 1 million on Showtime, I guarantee you. So this is a bad thing. Maybe they move off the date. I would move off the date. Maybe they say, oh, Tank had an injury, Leo had an injury, and they reset the date. But they got either they're going to be fighting at the Mohegan Sun, the Microsoft Center, but if it's fans, it's probably going to be the Staples Center. But it's not a pay-per-view fight. I don't care what nobody say. The way Tank moving, bruh. Now, if Tank would have fought Tevin, he would have fought Burchett, or, Gary Russell or Jojo Diaz or Unified or something like that nature, and for a real opposition, then maybe we can talk about it. But it's hard to get those small guys on pay-per-view and people to care about it. People just don't care about the smaller fighters because they don't hurt each other. That's what I always hear from fans. So this is a bad move by PBC, to be honest. I'm not buying the Tank fight. You know what I'm saying? It's just not a fight that interests me enough to buy it. I would love to see Leo Cruz get his head bucked to the canvas and his brain splurt out. But it's just something I can't pay $65 for. I heard it's gonna be a reduced pay-per-view. I don't care. Unless they reduce it to $40, I'll think about buying it. But I think I'll buy the Charlo pay-per-view card and that's it. But them going against the UFC, like I said, the UFC gonna do more pay-per-views than they can do on regular Showtime. It's nothing they can do but move off the date and live to fight another day. But then again, you got Crawford that's supposed to occupy a November date. You got Errol Spence that's going to occupy some November date. That's tentative right now. So if you do get Crawford and Pacquiao, which I don't believe, or you get Pacquiao and Mikey in November, and then you get Earl in November, then how can you put on Tank in November? You can't push Tank date up because he probably still working on cutting the weight off. So unless you pushing Tank to December, then you got Wilder Fury 3 in December. So to be honest, they got a couple options. They can put it on regular Showtime and move it to a Friday or move it to a Sunday, something like that, or put it on regular TV and occupy another date, or they can go head up against Khabib and Justin Gaethje, and hopefully somebody fall out the card with COVID, and they not hopefully they do, but in a PBC favor, hopefully somebody fall out with COVID or get injured, and Tank can occupy that day. But if Tank was the only one fighting on that day, he wouldn't draw that UFC viewership to PBC. He wouldn't do it. So it honestly don't matter. I don't expect the pay-per-view to do too much over 100,000 for Tank. I expect Khabib, and if it live up to the bill in the card, it's going to be good with Khabib and Justin Gaethje. Hope I'm saying his name right. I expect them to do over 1 million, especially with Khabib going down. Don't be surprised if they don't break some UFC pay-per-view numbers. And they said this dude has got a good wrestling background, a good striker, 5-2 in the UFC. I think he got like 4 or 5 straight knockouts. So Khabib coming off a long layoff. So this seemed to be the more intriguing fight. They're probably going to have a better undercard knowing UFC. So should be very, very interesting, man. So Tank is going to get obliterated that night. Even if he fight on regular Showtime. Shit, they fought on ABC, CBS. They still, Khabib and them still going to get them run for their money. They should have put that fight on CBS. But, it is what it is, man. I don't think they expected to make money. But all I'm saying is, Khabib, Leo Santa Cruz and Gervonta, Gervonta should get $1.5 million and Santa Cruz should get $1 million. So this shouldn't even be pay-per-view. This regular TV money they can pull out their ass and put it on CBS. So, but hey, Showtime and PBC and Fox, the fat meat greasy. They see what the UFC done, but they don't have the marketing the UFC got. Dana White has killed, promotion. He's killed marketing. He's, his fighters don't make that much money. It's a dictatorship. He can make them move when he say move, and PBC can't do so. But let me know what you guys think about Tank going head up versus Khabib and Justin Gaethje with Leo Santa Cruz. Don't forget to check out our boxing news playlist. Don't forget, I put an MMA playlist as well too. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All my links in the description. If you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video question, you want to chop it up, social media links there. Check out our Facebook group as well. That link's there. Want to make a donation, share the video, but Cash App, PayPal in the description. PayPal CJ Good 313. PayPal link in the description. That's Cash App, excuse me. PayPal link is in the description. One time for the one time. Let me know what you guys think. We're going to